Gaston had at first, when he got out of high school, bought a taxi company until he decided Joyce and Gaston, they were going to get married, and he bought the dump truck, which involved into, he owned 3 dump trucks at one time. Hauling dirt was not just everybody's desire to do, even though they made pretty good money. So him and, I think Gaston bought the ditching machine, and Johnny worked with him. They worked together for about a year. And Johnny, his brother-in-law, said, I believe I'm gonna turn this over to you and go back to work in Wellington at the city of Wellington. And then you take it and make a living for your family. So Gaston took the whole business onto himself and did very well. The business was booming. He was working, 12, 14 hours a day. And until about, just before Perry was born, he called his brother Chester Williams to come down and said, you wanna come down here? I think I've got a pretty good thing going and work in the ditching business with me. So Chester moved from Boise City, Oklahoma, I believe. Then along came Perry. He was in high school, and when he was about 12 years old, he went to work with Gaston during the summers and worked all summers with him. And so he was learning the business, and then as he graduated from playing football and such, he come in the business full-time. And along with his friend, several months later, we brought Billy Ott.
Perry and I was talking in school, and then I was complaining. I had a job during off-season and stuff in school, and he heard me complaining about all the guys. He said, you need to go to work for my dad. I said, okay. So I came and talked to Gaston, Pappy. So he hired me. And that was in May of 1977. All these years, do it right and get done, get off a job, go to the next one. Didn't mess around, come in the morning, take care of your business, you go see him. He'd give you a little piece of paper with a job on it. That's where we went. If you lost it, it wasn't good.
Well, my first experience with him was, of course, when I was a kid. My father was using them to dig our ditches, and I was around him a lot then. But he was very, very good to work with, and better than there wasn't anybody else that I even ever considered doing any ditching work in Amarillo or around Amarillo. You have to know your business and understand it, and understand what needs to be done and how it needs to be done, and you have to strive to do a little better job than anybody else. You start earlier, work harder, and stay later in the construction business. As a subcontractor, that's very important, and your work is your advertisement. Your customers are your advertisement. So, and Gaston was the same way about that, and I suppose I picked up a lot of that from him over the years.
He was a very firm, loyal, there's not a better man, I don't guess, alive than him.
We kind of always felt like we were almost part of the family, both my company and we were very close to him. My father was, and his brothers.
Straight-laced, he give you his word, and that's the way it was, Try to be on a job on time and take care of it and go to the next one. There was times we couldn't stay up with the amount of ditches we had.
It's hard work, long, tedious hours, and it's not something a young man wants to spend the rest of their life doing, but Perry was doing a fine job. He got him a side job during the time he was working for us, building fences, mowing yards, him and Billy. And so he had the desire to go a little bit further, and he ran into some people on the jobs talking about the oil businesses and stuff, and so Perry explored into different areas. You wake up every morning, you walk into this new concept, you drive across town, you see it. Even I speak for Gaston because I'm in the car with him, and I know, can you believe this? Can you believe this has come to this? So it's excitement. He's so proud. His friends that are still living, he can't wait to talk to them to tell them what his son Perry's done next.
Everything we did with him was, it was his family seemed like they were all involved, and it was just a family affair, and it was a pretty neat deal.
It's just terrific to see the boys come along, growing up, watching them grow up, watching them, you know, there before Perry was old enough, you know, to get in the business, and then him marrying and having children, and watching them grow up and take on, you know, it's just, there's not too many family histories like that.
They were around the ditching machines, and they were on the jobs, and as was Perry, and I've known them since they were just kids, you know, and they worked in the business then, and they've learned from Gaston, they've learned from Perry, and I think it's a lot of fun to kind of watch them evolve and do what they have done over the years, and be a part of something like they've built together here.
I want to just thank them for, one, especially Pappy, keep teaching me everything he's done, and Mama Joyce has always been there, watched us through school, even before I started work here, and you know, they've just kind of taken me in, and I just want to thank them for everything they've done.
Well, I just have to say he was a very honorable man, and he was honest, and he was good, and that's a lot to ask for somebody you're dealing with in business, but he was, and he still is, and he's an easy person to like, and he's an easy person to love. He's a good man, and I enjoyed it. And I'm thankful I had him to call on when we needed him.
It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely. It's I don't know, how do you explain it? It's your life.
You can't get any better.